I also want to add that some of these men will use your body to have children to entrap you. And it goes the same way around. We all know that some of these women, these wicked women, will have a baby specifically treat the man like an ATM machine. I know that it happens. I know that exists there. But I don't think it's common knowledge that men use children, intentionally impregnate women in order for that woman to have his baby, and he uses that child to entrap her and also to control her. You don't have to open up your mouth and say anything that this is, and if he's like, that's my baby, no, I cheated on you, that's not your baby. You don't, no, that's not your baby. Yeah, I think that's a better option. Why not? Why not? What are they going to do? Oh, she's a hoe, she's a hoe. Like, a lot of them say that anyways. She's a hoe. I would rather be accused of being whole and being safe and making sure that my baby stays with me. That's the safer, instead of telling these narcissistic, sick in the head, mentally men who want to entrap you. Don't tell them anything. You don't have to tell, and you don't have to be ashamed either. You don't have to be ashamed if you're going to be raising this child on your own. They make it sound like, oh, marriage, just like the prize. No, it's not. It's a trap. Marriage is a trap, especially when you're getting married to an immature boy stuck in the body of a man. You don't have to tell them anything. You actually don't have to tell them anything. And you don't have to be embarrassed and ashamed to raise a baby by yourself. You can do it. Women have been doing it for a millennia. It's a trap. And yeah, maybe there's a lot of marriages that work, but a lot of those marriages, especially with the older generation, a lot of especially women, they just tolerated it. Because either these institutions of the church, the government, or whatever told them that without this man, without this marriage, you ain't shit. No. Don't be afraid to raise these children by yourself, especially if you are a wholesome, healed woman. You can raise these children by yourself. You can. And I'm not even saying by yourself, right? You can. Okay, another story. So when I was younger, this is back when I was a single mom, right? I had 2 other friends who were also single moms, right? I think were they all narcissists? No, the one girl was narcissistic, but us 2 were like just toxic empaths. But I guess that's neither here and there. But it was just the 3 of us, single moms, and you know how we did it? None of us were dating at the time. It was just us 3, and between us 3, there was 5 kids between the 3 of us. And you know how we did it? This is how we did it, okay? One weekend, because we also worked too and go to school, right? So we worked it like, we used to kind of joke and say this is like co-parenting, but between all of us, all 3 of us, and we made it work, right? One would cook and give the other to moms, or we would share babysitting, or we exchanged clothes. Like, we worked and because we lived in the same vicinity, we worked as a community, and it was good. And we probably did that for a good, I'll say 5 years. 5 years. It was good. And during that period of time, we were going to school if we didn't graduate from college yet. We had our vehicles. We had our own houses. We were saving up for a down payment for houses. We actually had it good. You know when it started to mash up? When one of us started dating. When one of us started dating, things just mash up, right? Because now the narcissist is like, oh, they're just jealous of you because you got a man. Oh, you can't be raising children, just only women. And I actually think there's a community in Africa that I heard of, the village of just women. There's no men in there. And the women make it work. What if we all just ditched marriage? Okay? And I'm not talking about the narcissistic, sick in the head women. I'm just talking about the healthy women whose moral compass is straight. I'm just talking about what if we as women came together Okay, we had our communities of just women and we raised our children together. Can that not be a possibility? Yes, it can be a possibility because I lived it. And even when I think back in those times, and sometimes I ask my son, who's an adult now, do you remember those? He'll say that those were the best years of his life. And that was from like to, let's see, 6. He says, and even the other ones too. So I call them my nephews, even though we're not related at all. And they call me auntie. And so I'll ask them, like, yeah, do you remember when we were in Pine Ridge, right? They all say the same thing. Those were our favorite years. Okay. And so, yeah, it started with me getting a man. Okay. Shit went loose. And then the other ones went with a man. Then she ended up getting abused. And the other one, she had a bunch of different kids. I'm just saying there are alternatives to being married, isolated by yourself, doing everything by yourself with these narcissistic men who don't want to do anything but control you and your children through your womb. Nah, forget that. Done. We are on the cusp of a new era. May the divine feminine rise.